Thank you for supporting my hobby in incubating, raising, and learning about chick development. So here we're going to talk about the setup of the brooder. I have it organized for weeks 1. I like to start with the puppy pads because it provides a non-slip, easy surface for the chicks to get around. If you can see here, the heat plate is set at an angle. With the demonstration stick here, the first notch is at the back and the second notch here is at the front. So it's at an angle for the chicks to choose how hot or cool they need it to be. You do not want it below the first notch, which is about 2 inches above the bedding to prevent overheating. A noisy chick that chirps excessively and is extremely loud is typically too cold and needs more heat. Check with your hand by feeling the under bottom of the heat plate to make sure that it is warm. It's self-regulated, just like this, feeling the underside. It is self-regulated to be about 100 to 110 degrees. So it should be a little warm to the touch. Think of a kid having a fever. So we have the heat plate, and what I like to do is to sneak the cord out through the hole. We're going to move that aside to talk about the other parts. So here's the hole to exit the cord. We have one on each side. Next we have the puppy pads, or the absorbent pads. I fold in the blue lighter plastic to avoid the chicks from chewing on them. Chicks test everything with their mouths, just like most babies, to see if it's food. And as they get older and stronger, they'll be able to chew off those little pieces of blue plastic. So we want to fold those under just for their safety. So I have 2 here with the blue folded under. And then following the folds, they fit pretty nicely. This first container with the slats is for food. Basically, you open the red lid and you fill it from the top with the provided food. I recommended the medicated crumble, with the exception of silky chicks, which are a little more different in their dietary needs. Medicated is great for the first start of the chicks to avoid infections until they're a little bit older, when then you can start exposing them. I'm going to butcher this word. Coccidiosis, which is a bacteria, not a bacteria, it's a fungus found in the soil. So all chickens are pretty much going to be exposed to that, but if you prolong it until they're a bit older, then they have a better chance of developing an immune system against it and fighting it when they're bigger and stronger than smaller chicks. So I definitely like to start with a bag of medicated, and then as they get older, move it to unmedicated. Okay, so that goes into this container with the slots. The second container is for water. It's a little bit more tricky because it's a gravity-fed container. So here, I'm going to put it down, put my phone down, and show you how to open the water container. Let's see, we can get this. There we are. So, if you can see here, it's held together by these slats and grooves. Twist to undo. Flip the water container upside down. Fill it up from your sink while it is upside down. Still upside down. You get the top situated just perfectly and twist. Here we are. You can see the white groove inside of the red, and that is aligned. And with a very swift movement, because it is full of water and heavy, you will need 2 hands. One hand grabs the handle and one hand grabs the white. I'll show you the best I can without a cameraman. So here, you grab the white, and you grab one hand on the handle, and then swiftly turn it as fast as you can and hold it upside down. It will quickly fill. Might splash a bit, so be prepared for that. And then, as gently as you can, put it back in. With these tote bins, the bottom is not completely level. It has kind of a bend right here in the center. So putting the food and water in the center of the bin helps to prevent the water from spilling. So you want it aligned in this direction, not this direction. Also provided water vitamins, either in a baggie or in individual packets, depending on how I purchased it in bulk or individual, just depending on the season and the price. Everything fluctuates with chicks. So basically, a small teaspoon or tablespoon per 1 full container. When chicks are small, if you have 6 chicks, you only want to fill half a container of water with just enough to make the water turn colors, typically yellow, with the water vitamins. If you have a full 12 chicks, then you might want to fill up the whole container and just add enough to make it turn yellow. I know there's dosage on the packaging, but really it's just to give them a strong, healthy start in getting hydrated while they're figuring out how to navigate the brooder and, you know, the whole process of eating and drinking. Just like humans, chicks are not born knowing how to eat and drink. It's just an instinct, so it definitely needs to be encouraged. Also provided is a bag of chick grit, typically. This is just a glorified gravel solution. Chicks and chickens, poultry, have a gizzard, and in the gizzard they need to be able to eat rocks. I am not even joking, this is a bag of rocks. Eating dirt is good for them. They need to have the stones in their gizzard to be able to help grind and digest their food. They do not have teeth, so their manual grinding happens in their gizzard. If you run out of this and you have a dirt patch or gravel or small stones about this size, don't worry about buying more chick grit. I don't supply grit for my adult chickens, but not everybody has a backyard and access to stones. So I feel like it's a necessity in case they're being offered vegetables or, you know, just outside grazing. They'll eat the grass and bugs. They need to digest it with the chick grit. If they're just on the chick starter, they do not need the grit. But as soon as you introduce other foods and outside time where they're pecking around, they need the grit. So after about a week or 2 weeks, whenever you run out of the puppy pads, depending on how many chicks you have, we want to elevate their food and water because the chicks are very messy. As you will discover, they like to kick around and root around in the wood shavings. So as soon as they're big enough for the wood shavings and then you've run out of the puppy pads, move over to fill it all up with wood shavings. Pretend there's no puppy pads here. This is the wood shavings. I really don't want to open a new pack right now. So this is the setup for week 2. No puppy pads, fill with wood shavings, maybe, I don't know, an inch or just enough to cover the bottom so that the poop sticks to the wood shavings and not the plastic container. So what we do is we turn the elevated pan over and we use it to lift it up so the chicks can reach their food and water without kicking the wood chips into the food and water. And of course, and of course, the whole time this stays in there. The heat plate stays in there. And by week 2, every week, you will move up a notch on the legs of the heating plate. So if this is week 1, this is week 2, this is week 3, this is week 4, and if you have smaller chicks or chicks that are particularly complaining, or maybe they're in a colder area, it's winter time and they need more heat, this is just a suggested guideline. Definitely pay attention to the behavior of your chicks. If they're extra cheapy, move it up. If they are super tall and they have to crouch super low to get in there, it needs to be moved up. So different breeds of chicks grow at different rates, and different times a year need different height levels to control the temperature. So let's talk a little bit more about this for older chicks now. So this part is to keep the chicks from roosting on top and keep it a little cleaner. There's really no functionality other than cleanliness of the top dome. So I'm going to take that off for a second. Lift it over. This is the underside and how you adjust the height. You squeeze this in the same time. Sorry, poor man, apologize. So squeeze this in, pull this out until you hit the next notch. And that's how you adjust it. And so if this is week 2, you can do half or you can do a full section, just depending on how big your chicks are and how much they need. So here, I'll do a full section, which seems kind of dramatic. So it might only need a half section, but still, again, it's at that angled height so that they can choose where they want to be. Please message me or call me with any questions.